1988, I started. I actually quit the golf team at the University of Florida. I was a golfer back in the day, and I actually at that point was faced with a decision whether or not I was going to stay at the University of Florida because my scholarship had run out and I was needing to find a way to put myself through school. So I got a job at a pizza restaurant bussing tables, and that lasted for all of 3 days when the manager came to me and I looked at him and he looked at me and we just kind of stared at each other, and I said to him, "This isn't working out, is it?" And he says, "No, it's not." I said, "Okay." Took off my apron, I gave it to him, and from that point forward, that was the only time I've ever worked for anyone else, actually. In high school, I used to have my own lawn business where I would cut lawns in the neighborhood and I would wax cars. I was very much an entrepreneur. So I just continued thinking, what can I do to make a buck? And I had this idea for a t-shirt. It was a smiley face. But my smiley faces had long hair, they had glasses, they had peace signs in their bandana. It was definitely a unique smiley face. And from there, I printed up, I don't know, 72 t-shirts, I think, and sold them all like in one day. So it became like, I was like, wow. Sold a lot of t-shirts, made a lot of money. I'm going to do this again. I'm going to do this again. Maybe I'll print up more of the same. Maybe I'll print up a different design. And people were just gobbling these things up. I would go into the girls' dorm rooms with like duffel bags full of t-shirts and come out with cash, just nothing but cash. And I got kicked out of a few dorms. I actually got written up and arrested on campus a couple of times, and the University of Florida licensing department caught on to me actually using the college University of Florida logo illegally because I wasn't paying royalties by using their mark. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't even know there was such thing as paying royalties to people for using their mark. But actually, I became the youngest student ever to be issued a license from the University of Florida. So I continued to manufacture and print University of Florida t-shirts and sell them to the campus bookstores. I would sell them in the dorms and in the malls. And I created a line of University of Florida product. And when I graduated, I had about 8 employees. I was, able to support them, myself, and I was like, wait a minute, I have a business here. This is like a real business, and I probably shouldn't walk away from it. So I ended up moving back home to Atlanta for a little while, and took my t-shirt building knowledge into corporate America, where I started manufacturing shirts and designs and printing those shirts onto like Hanes BVTs for the Loom, Champion, Oneida, a lot of different brands that I didn't necessarily love the quality of the shirts. I was always after something a little bit better, a little bit thinner, something that fit a little bit nicer. The fits on these shirts were boxy, and they were stiff and too heavy, and just anything that you can remember from like a Hanes BVT. A lot of times at the time, those shirts were considered the highest of quality. I had these thrift store, old vintage 70s shirts that I used to wear in my closet that fit similar to like the fit today here that I'm wearing, that I was in love with. They were thin, they were worn out, they were cut differently, a little bit more for a skinnier frame. The sleeve wasn't as long, so I was after that type of shirt. I was like, how can I find this shirt, from the 70s? Well, I just decided one day to start manufacturing my own products, and I ended up going to China, and I found a few factories and showed them, what I was trying to make, and of course they tried to make me, exactly what I wanted, and I was like, no, this is not it. I went through several rounds of disappointment until I finally got. Probably fast forward the clock, we're now in about, say, 96. This is when the Olympics were at Atlanta. I actually had created a line of T-shirts and hats at that time, both of which were, you know, the trendiest of the T-shirts and hats that were out there. It was now a low-profile hat that was sort of coming off the trucker, the first phase of truckers. You know, that was before the Ashton Kutcher trucker phase. That was a whole other. That was 20 years later, but. A T-shirt and hat where I would use my own product, for printing on to corporate America. And from what happened from there, it just expanded to the point where people wanted my blanks. And I was like, wait, I don't have to print anything on these things. I can just sell them as blanks. People are loving these things. And I ended up creating another company in '96 called Alternative. And from that point forward, we became a distribution company where we would stock, you know, a certain quality of blank T-shirt that was higher than your average BVT or your Fruit of the Loom, and we would offer that as an available product, ready for shipment same day. You know, we had one warehouse guy in the back, and he would pack up the orders, and some days the phone never even rang once, unless it was like our friend calling. But you know, fast forward, you know, a few more years, you know, we started catching on. People were really liking our blank shirts. Not only were we offering T-shirts, we were offering thermals and golf shirts and you know, tank tops and you know, button downs and all sorts of things, and it just grew from there. And what happened from that point, we were offering the blanks to, you know, people who would do printing on them. We were offering them to other brands who would private label them. And what was happening is the retailers were catching on. They would notice that, wait, this blank that has the label cut out of it, where is this shirt coming from? And this is one of the reasons why we, you know, had headed into retail, because the retailers actually really came to us and were like, look, we like this shirt, we want to buy this shirt. And if our customers weren't adding any value to the shirt in the form of print, embroidery, some type of embellishment, we didn't feel like it was any conflict to sell them our blank. So from that point forward, the retailers were buying our blank T-shirts as is, and we were like probably one of the best deals they could come across. You know, we had inventory ready to ship same day. We were priced accordingly to the markets that were in the blank market, so the margins the retailers were able to get on our products were way higher than a typical margin that they would find from one of their other brands they would carry. And the value equation was just there for their end customer. They were able to offer a quality of a retail level quality blank at a price that was, you know, a third, a half of what they would normally sell that same type of product for, branded. And when the economy sort of dropped twice, actually, you know, once during 9/11 was a big dip, and then again, you know, a few years ago, I think the retailer really recognized us as, you know, the value equation in the apparel world. And I think today we're, you know, obviously we're a full lifestyle brand today. We've got our first retail store on Abbot Kinney, and hopefully more to come. I think people are really drawn to our brand because we're sort of like the anti-brand brand. You know, we've never really embellished anything on our product. We've never screamed alternative across the front. We're about the quality and the fabrics and the fit and the people. You know, you see how other brands sort of resonate in the market, and advertisements and billboards, and we've never done any of that, and we probably will never do any of that type of stuff because that's just not in our DNA. Our DNA is about real people. It's about living comfortably. It's about living authentically. It's about you know, being comfortable with what you're wearing, not only, you know, how you appear, but how you feel on the inside. I think that's really what we're all about, and I think that our cult following, which is, been incredible to watch us even like this year, take Facebook, where, we started the year, I think, with 8,000 fans, and today we've got 60,000 fans, at Facebook. I know that's, not a lot comparatively speaking, but we just kind of started this whole social media thing. And from where it goes from here, I don't know, but we've got millions of T-shirts that we're distributing on a monthly basis, in 130 different countries worldwide. So it's becoming an international brand. It's not just a domestic LA, thing. We're in 130 different countries, and you go all over the world and you can see Alternative somewhere. So hopefully this will continue to grow exponentially, and we can continue to keep what is true to us in our DNA and our core, and just living comfortably.